Every product leader has felt it. You've spent weeks crafting a vision, a bold, market-shifting strategy. The slides are polished, the roadmap is aligned, and the team is fired up. Then Monday comes. The engineering stand-up is a blur of Jira tickets. The product manager is buried in Slack threads. The designer is waiting for approvals. And somehow, that beautiful strategy starts to feel like a distant memory. This is the execution gap, the invisible chasm between what you plan and what you actually ship. It's not a failure of ambition. It's a failure of connection. When your strategic vision lives in a deck and your daily work lives in a dozen different tools, they never meet. Data gets siloed, priorities get blurred, teams move fast, but in different directions. And the product that finally reaches the customer is a watered-down version of what you imagined. The gap isn't about effort. It's about alignment. So where does the execution gap actually start? It starts with data fragmentation. Think about the typical product stack. Jira for engineering, Asana for project management, Salesforce for sales, Zendesk for support, and maybe a dozen spreadsheets floating around in email attachments. Each tool holds a piece of the truth, but no single view connects them. The product manager updates a roadmap in one place, the engineer updates a ticket in another, and the customer success team logs feedback in a third. None of these systems talk to each other. So when leadership asks, how are we tracking against the quarterly goal? The answer is a manual, time-consuming exercise in copy-pasting, reconciling, and guessing. This operational noise, the constant firefighting of data entry errors, version conflicts, and stale information, drowns out the signal. Real progress gets buried under the weight of administrative overhead. And the most dangerous part? Systemic risks. Like a feature slipping by 3 weeks, or a critical bug being deprioritized, don't surface until it's too late. By the time leadership sees the problem, the damage is already done. Fragmentation doesn't just slow you down, it blinds you. So how do we bridge the gap between fragmented data and strategic execution? The answer lies in agentic workflows, AI-driven systems that don't just aggregate information, but actively orchestrate it. Imagine a digital operations layer that sits on top of your entire tool stack, constantly scanning Jira tickets, Asana tasks, Salesforce updates, and Zendesk tickets. It doesn't just collect data, it understands context. When a feature slips by 3 days, the agent surfaces that exception immediately, not in a weekly meeting, but in real time. It flags the risk, identifies the root cause, maybe a blocked dependency or resource bottleneck, and pushes a decision-ready alert to the product manager. No more manual reconciliation, no more blind spots. The agent transforms raw, scattered data into a single, living signal that tells you exactly where to focus. This is the bridge: automated status aggregation, exception detection, and signal generation, all without human intervention. Suddenly, the execution gap closes. Strategy and daily work finally speak the same language. But agentic workflows are only as powerful as the visibility they provide. Without a unified, portfolio-level view, even the smartest AI agents are just feeding noise into a black box. This is where portfolio visibility becomes the critical enabler, the dashboard that transforms raw signals into strategic intelligence. Imagine a single screen that shows every product initiative, every team's velocity, every risk flag, and every dependency, all updated in real time. No more digging through Jira filters or waiting for the weekly status report. The portfolio dashboard becomes the single source of truth for delivery health. It doesn't just show you what's happening, it shows you what matters. When a critical feature slips, the dashboard doesn't just log it, it escalates it. It triggers an alert to the VP of product, the engineering lead, and the program manager, all in the same thread. The conversation shifts from, "What happened?" to, "What do we do now?" This is proactive governance. It's not about tracking progress, it's about steering outcomes. And for the first time, executives have the real-time visibility they need to make decisions that actually move the needle. But visibility alone isn't the finish line. The real magic happens when that portfolio-level intelligence flows back into the strategy itself. This is the closed loop, the final piece that turns product-led transformation from a one-time initiative into a self-sustaining engine. Think of it like a thermostat. The dashboard is the thermometer, showing you the temperature. The agentic workflows are the control system, flagging when it's too hot or too cold. But the closed loop is the feedback mechanism that adjusts the furnace, the strategy itself, based on what the data is telling you. When execution data reveals that a feature is consistently slipping, the loop doesn't just escalate the risk, it questions the assumption. Maybe the feature is too complex. Maybe the timeline was unrealistic. Maybe the market has shifted. The loop forces you to revisit the strategic hypothesis that drove that feature in the first place. This isn't a postmortem. It's a real-time, continuous refinement cycle. Every sprint, every release, every customer interaction becomes a data point that sharpens your strategy. The gap between vision and execution doesn't just close, it disappears. And what emerges is a repeatable, scalable process where strategy and execution are no longer separate conversations. They are the same conversation, happening in real time, driven by data that never stops flowing. This is how product-led transformation becomes a living system, not a project with an end date, but a culture of continuous learning and adaptation.